Before we get into this video, if you could hit that like button and the subscribe button down below, that would really help me out. But today's video is a tactical preview of the Liverpool game on Saturday night, which will be tomorrow night as you're watching this. And I'm going to go into a specific circumstance which I think Liverpool will punish us for, but I also think that it's a bit of an issue with Marsch's tactics in general, so we're going to explore this one together, and for it I have a new toy. So I thought this format would be a little bit easier to understand than me putting it up on the screen, and it's just a little bit clearer and bigger for you to be able to see what's going on here with the tactics. So at the top we've obviously got Liverpool playing a bit of a 4-3-3, but that forward will sit a little bit deeper than the two players off him, which is probably, as Diaz is out, going to be Jota and Salah. So the way that Liverpool, I think, are going to get at us in this game is when we're pressing them. Now, our pressing against some of the other top teams has been almost one of our strongest suits. And it's worked against Arsenal and against Chelsea. Obviously, we didn't get the goals against Arsenal, but we were doing the pressing and we were doing it in the right areas. Now, we're just going to go a little bit into Marsch's pressing idea here first, just so that I can show you what the issue is. So let's say that you've got your striker, whether it be Bamford or Rodrigo. You've got your almost wingers, as we know they're not that wide. And basically, they will position themselves in an area where they are in between the other players to a point where, let's move them all up here, to a point where basically they are halfway in between each of the options. So you've got some players here on the halfway line. It's usually maybe two that are left back and one that is here. And the issue comes when we're pushed up the pitch like this. And it's because we can basically throw a blanket over our entire team. And the issue is that because we've pressed so high, when you get somebody like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is so capable of playing those... Sorry, I had a bit of a technical difficulty there where I couldn't get the pen out. But basically, you have somebody like Trent Alexander-Arnold and he's got the ball there. Now, the issue is that Liverpool are a very savvy team and Jurgen Klopp is a very tactically adept manager. And what he will have asked his players to do is spread the play. So you imagine that somebody like Jota or Salah, whether it be on that side or this side, is out here, okay? And the issue becomes when they spread the play like this, and our players are being told to press up the pitch like that. But the issue is somebody like Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's good enough to play a pass into that space there where Mo Salah or Diogo Jota will be running onto the ball. And by the time it's got there, you've also got your other attacking players catching up with the play here. And by the time we've even realised it, they're in behind us. And this happened multiple times this season. One of the most obvious circumstances of it happening was in the Crystal Palace game, and Crystal Palace obviously were panicking at first and were getting pressed really well by Leeds, but when this happened they thought, okay, well, why don't we just try and lump it over the top? And that's what Patrick Vieira obviously told them to do, whether that be at half-time or actually during the game. He wanted them to basically lump it over the top because Leeds pushed this whole team up into a little blanket where you could throw a towel over our whole team. And we're basically just in this area here. So the danger comes when somebody like Trent Alexander-Arnold breaks that press with a really good pass. And against somebody like Trent, he's the one you've got to watch out for because he's got that passing ability. You've also got Andy Robertson as well, who has a very good passing range as well as that. So that is one of our biggest issues and has been this season. Now, for me, the thing that we could do to fix this is to basically almost abandon the press at certain points in the game. So for the first 5 or 10 minutes, you may want to do this. You may want to go out and see if you can get an early goal. But once they've soaked up that pressure and once they start to come back into the game, let's take this off the board. When we then press, we can still press a little bit, but when we then press, let's move these players back to where they were. when we then press in those situations, instead of us all going like that, you could just have a few of the front players go like this and press the ball, okay? But what you do is you then leave Rasmus back, you leave Cooper back, and you leave Koch back, or whoever is playing in there. And you just give yourself a little bit of a safety blanket. We go maybe man-to-man on the striker like that so that they can't receive the ball into feet and turn and get in behind us. And you basically have a contingency plan where you think, okay, well, Liverpool are good enough to go over the top of us here. So instead of going all out pressing and using the whole team to press, we could actually have the front men go on the triggers and try to win the ball back. But when they don't win the ball back, they get back into those positions and try to defend against it in almost banks of four. Obviously, we'd have two holding midfielders and then you'd have the players in front of them. But you basically go into defensive formation to try and stop that. So when Trent Alexander-Arnold has the ball here again, or Robertson has it here, we're basically saying, try and break us down. And it's not a crime to say, come and try and break us down, because Liverpool have got some of the best attacking players in Europe. Granted, they've not had the best season, but for me, in certain situations, it's okay to not be all out gegenpress. It's okay to not say, all right, well, we're going 100 miles an hour. The whole thing that Jesse said when he came in was that we're going to go from 100 down to 70 and try to stop being so almost labour intensive and just absolutely sprinting our pans out for the sake of sprinting our pans out. And against somebody like Liverpool, when they've got the ball in those situations at the back, or even when they play it through into the midfielders, Fabinho, Henderson, somebody like that has got the ball. If then this player has the ball, just make us hard to break down. Just give us that chance to have a little bit of a period of recovery. And when we feel like we might be able to get back into the game again, then we start pressing again and we go as a unit and we try to do that press. But if we do it for 90 minutes, we're going to get caught out, and that's what keeps happening. And if we're being honest, we all think we're going to lose to Liverpool, okay, because we've not been good enough so far this season. And honestly, I don't think Marsh, I think Marsh needs to learn more of his trade. I think he needs to learn, like I say in this video, when to drop back, when to just accept that we're going to have to sit in for a little while and then try and press again and then try and create things. The other issue is that we don't create enough when we have the ball, and I don't think Jesse has any ideas for that. I mean, I think we can be hard to break down. I think we've got good players like Sinistera, who maybe in here or in here can create something out of absolutely nothing. But we do look a little bit clueless in those situations. So somebody like Sinistera and Aronson are going to be really important in a game like this to try and create something out of nothing. Because for me, I don't really see how else we are going to create chances. Bamford has obviously been very profligate in front of goal, and he's going to have issues in there. But for me, it's a difficult one and a trade-off, because do you play Ayling here? Because if you play Ayling here, he's more likely to get up the wing and put those balls right across the face of the goal that he loves doing, and then you've got a Bamford there to maybe finish it. But if you play Rasmus, he's more likely to sort of sit at the back, be very tight defensively, and try and mark Jota or Salah out of the game. So it's a trade-off for me. I think Strauch should start on the left, just because I just think Junior Firpo will get absolutely torn apart by Mo Salah in this role here. And as well, Mo Salah's not going to be completely outside the winger like this and crossing balls into the box. He's obviously left-footed and he's playing on the right-hand side, so he's more likely to try and make those runs from out to in through that gap. And somebody like Junior Firpo, I don't think he's good enough. So I think maybe having Cooper and Strauch there as two centre-backs is actually a better option there to try and stop Mo Salah doing what he does so well for Liverpool. So for me, it's got to be quite a defensive line at the back, and you maybe then try more attacking players in a game against Bournemouth maybe. But you could still, against Bournemouth, there's no shame in just dropping off the press for a little while and saying, okay, we'll try and break us down, because we are just going to continue to lose games if we do this, because it will just get played over the top of us. So for me, our issues are a lot to do with conceding goals are a lot to do with this, the way we press, and then if a team's good enough to break that press and break the lines, they almost have a free man on this side when the ball goes to him, which creates a lot of issues for us, especially when we're pushed up the pitch like this and you get them flooding forward in numbers trying to counter-attack against us. So that's the issue defensively for me. Offensively, we don't create enough chances, so we're going to need something a bit special from Sinisterra, Aronson or Harrison to create that. The set pieces aren't great. In a set piece situation, you'd have your Aronson and Harrison here, which I still don't get having both of them there, but the idea is to have somebody come in near post to try and flick it on for somebody in the middle, but teams have cottoned onto that so much now that they will just put somebody on the front post, and that is why we keep hitting the front man every time we take a corner, and everybody moans and everybody says, how can't you get it past the front man? But I think our players are being told to hit that front post where supposedly a player can flick it on into the middle and into the back of the net like so. But the issue comes that everybody has seen that now. Everybody knows that that is not going to work for Leeds anymore because it's been marked out of the game. There is always somebody there to head that away. We do it ourselves, putting Bamford at the front post when he's on. So set pieces, we need to think of something different, really. We need to think of another option in there, just even to mix it up a little bit. Sometimes you might do that and sometimes it might be a good idea, but other times you may need to put it to the back post or have a certain setup for the way that we run into the box. But for me, the set pieces need more ideas. We need more of invention in attacking areas and more creativity, and at the back we need to try and stay a little bit more tight and solid and ask them the question, can they break us down in this game? Which the answer is probably yes, but it would show that Jesse is willing to adapt to this situation and say, okay, let's soak up the pressure a little bit and see if we can counter-attack them. So that's just my thoughts on this. I will be doing a live watch along on Saturday evening, so join me here on the channel for that. Like I said at the start, subscribe if you're new, like the video because it really helps get the channel out there. And thanks for watching this one. I'll see you on Saturday night.